Subject English, Chapter number 13 Sultan Ghiyasuddin in the Qazi's Court. Hundreds of years ago, in the eastern province of Bengal, Sultan Ghiyasuddin Azam Shah ruled the land. Province, territory. His capital was Sonargaon. Sultan Ghiyasuddin was a good ruler. He ruled wisely and well. He respected men of learning. Men of learning means knowledgeable people. He had a deep regard for law. Deep regard means care or respect. One day, while the Sultan was practicing with his bow and arrows, he accidentally wounded the only son of a poor widow. The wounded boy did not survive to be alive. Weeping and wailing, the poor widow went to the Qazi and told him what had happened, wailing, crying, and sobbing long and loudly. The Qazi was an honest and upright man. Upright, just, and honest. He sent an officer to summon the Sultan to his court. Summon, to order someone to come. When the officer reached the palace, the guard stopped him and inquired about his business. Business, cause of work or cause of his visit. When they learnt that he had come to serve a summons on the Sultan, they were shocked. They refused to let him go inside the palace. The officer was now in a fix. In a difficult or awkward situation. The guards did not allow him to enter the palace, but he knew that he could not return without serving the summons. The Qazi would not take him back. He had to find a way of reaching the Sultan somehow. What could he do? He thought and thought. At last he began to sound the azan, the call for the prayer, loudly just outside the palace. It was not yet time for the prayer. When the Sultan heard the loud, untimely call, he was greatly surprised. He ordered that the man giving the call should be brought before him immediately. His soldiers rushed out of the palace gates, caught the officer, and took him to the Sultan within moments. Within moments, immediately. When the officer knelt before the Sultan, he was trembling with fear. Knelt, to kneel, to bow down. Trembling means shaking due to fear. But he mustered all his courage and explained why he had given the call for azan. Muster means to gather. Then, with shaking hands, he gave the summons to the Sultan. Sultan Gyasuddin took it without making any comment. He read the summons and told the officer to go back to the Qazi. He announced that he would appear in the Qazi's court the next day. The next morning, the Sultan got ready to appear before the Qazi. He hid a sharp sword in his robe and set out. The courtroom was packed with people. Everyone was eager to see what would happen. The Qazi entered and took his place on the high seat of honor. In a little while, Sultan Gyasuddin entered the courtroom. Everyone stood up to show respect to the Sultan. But the Qazi did not get up. The Sultan stood in the docks and the trial began. Docks, it's a place, enclosed space in the court of law for the accused person. The widow presented her complaint. The Qazi took note of all the evidence and in a grave voice addressed the Sultan. Evidence, the information given to prove something. Grave means serious. You are guilty of causing the death of the only son of this poor widow. According to the law, you must pay a fine for this offense. I order you to do that without delay. Offense means crime or wrong deed. The Sultan accepted the judgment and apologized to the widow. He arranged to pay the fine immediately. The widow felt satisfied that the offense was brought home to the offender. When the case was over, the Qazi got up from his high seat of honor. Respectfully, he bowed to the Sultan and requested him to take his seat. The Sultan then drew the hidden sword from his robes and told the Qazi, I am happy that you did not waver in your duty. You did not hesitate to punish me. Otherwise, I would have beheaded you with the sword. Waver means to hesitate or falter. The Qazi then put his hand under the cushion where the Sultan was seated and brought out a whip. He said, Your Majesty, I am happy because you obey the law. Otherwise, I would have whipped you in this court. Whip, a strip of leather used for beating a person. The Sultan then got up and embraced the Qazi. Thank God we both did our duty, he said. Everyone present in the courtroom praised the two great men.